Welcome to another episode of the Talking with Top podcast. I'm your host, Todd Carter, where I have intimate conversations with extraordinary people who are making a difference in their communities. This episode is sponsored by 93 Michi Beats. Forget your producer, my beats are made by Michi. Today on the show, we have Miss Tiphani. Tiphani is a content creator and a podcaster, singer, and a songwriter. Welcome to the show, Tiphani.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, before we get started, go ahead and tell everybody where you're from.
I am from Arkansas. My hometown is Hot Springs. I live in Conway now, but I am from Arkansas. I don't even say I'm from Cali anymore. I was born there, but I'm basically from Arkansas.
All right. So, also too, I didn't send this over to you, but since you do Tiffany's Tuesdays, Tiffany's Tip Tuesday, go ahead and give my listeners a tip, even though it's Wednesday.
You said give them a tip,
Yeah.
even though it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
As she said, I have tips, Tuesdays. A tip. Oh, I don't know. Live life. Life is short. Live it. Um, that's what I would say off top.
Right. And that's I got my music going. I hate when I have a blooper, but I'm gonna let that blooper stay in. Okay. So yeah, that's what I always say. Life is, I try not to say short. So I always say, life is what it is. So
Mhm.
yeah, I want to, do what I can. All right. So we will jump right in. And also too, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and interview with me.
Yes.
All right. So what inspired you to start a podcast?
Honestly, what inspired me to start my podcast? First of all, I'm a singer first, and when I went back and finished college, I actually knew what I wanted to do. I went and I got my bachelor's of science in music business. And within getting that degree, we surfaced over several different types of classes. And within some of those classes, I had to do a podcasting project. And from then, I was just like, I kind of want to start my own podcast because I'm the type of person that if I want to do something, then I would just try my best to just start it and do it. And so I was like, well, I don't know what type of podcast that I want to do. I don't want to be like everybody else. But the type of podcast that I wanted to do, not, I mean, I think there's other inspirational podcasts out there, but not necessarily like the one that I do. So, but before I actually started the podcast, I was skeptical of starting it because, like I said, number one, I'm a singer, and I honestly do not like the sounds of my voice played back when I'm
Me neither.
talking. I
Right.
will sing all day. I can sing in front of millions of people and I'll be fine. But you have me to speak in front of millions of people, I'm like, no. So when I had the idea to start a podcast, first of all, it's like, I didn't just want to do anything and it just, just be something I was doing and I started and then I finished it or whatever. But first of all, I was asking God, I was like, why do I even want to do this podcast? I don't even like the sound of my voice. But I started I've always been a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always written down like whether it's like poetry, songs, or just my thoughts, or little messages. And I was like, you know what? I have everything that it takes for me to start the podcast. I have everything. So I starting off, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna start with these things that I already have written down, and then I'm gonna go from there and see how it takes me. I started that 2022,
Mm-hmm.
February 2022, and I've been going strong ever since. It went from just a podcast to now I do the live portion of the podcast also. So it's been a good almost 2-year journey.
Okay. Awesome. That's that's exciting. I started my podcast journey the beginning of the year in January with two of my
Cool.
coworkers on another podcast. We decided in June to move in different directions, and then
Mm.
I started this a little bit before we did that, and it's been awesome. And since then, I also have another podcast that I do with some business partners that I actually met through the group that we met in as well. And it's going well too. It's called Finding Our Voice. So I'm
Okay,
currently doing two podcasts. Yeah, I love it
that's
though.
good.
It keeps
Yes.
it keeps me busy. So one of
Right.
the to ask too is how have you evolved or changed since you became a content creator?
So content creator is in the podcast content creator.
Mhm. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, since podcasting, how have I evolved? I think, well, I know just off top, just from talking, because whenever I did start the podcast, like I said, I just started just me doing my topics on the podcast. Then when I ventured out and started doing the live portion of it, starting off, I was like, okay, I'll have special guests on there, but I'm gonna make sure that they're doing majority of the talking.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think definitely within the last few months or so that I have evolved just with speaking. I find myself, I'll be listening back to the actual footage of it, and I'm like, man, I was talking a lot. Uh, Because before I'm just like, well, I got the special guests on the show. They can do the talking, I'll be more the host.
Right.
So I have definitely evolved in that sense. I've evolved in just knowing the um, ins and outs of um, getting it out there.
Right.
I know for the first 2 seasons of my life, I was just kind of like figuring it out and just working out the kinks and things like that. And if you've followed from season 1 to this last season that I've done, season 3, you can really tell a difference when it comes to my visuals, to the transitions of the podcast, just little things that would be little to others, they're big to me.
Right.
So I'm always looking with an editor's mindset, and I believe that I've evolved just a little bit more. There's always room for growth,
Yeah.
but definitely involved in those ways. Definitely.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I look at too. Is just how can I evolve? How can I do things better? So I'm always trying to figure out a way to make my podcast look better. So I'm
Yes.
always, working on the craft. How do you want to impact the world with your podcast?
I want to impact the world. First of all, one person at a time. If one person just gets one thing from something that I say, I always say that I'm here to give inspiration, motivation, and encouragement. Um, when I've To be honest, when I first started the podcast, I didn't know if I was going to really keep going with it. I always tell people that I'm really bad with starting something but not finishing it, and so I've been working on being consistent.
Okay.
And one thing that has helped me to be consistent with the podcast is knowing personally the inspiration that I am giving to others.
Mhm.
Um, I think it was maybe like a month after doing a couple of episodes of the podcast that I began to get text messages or Facebook messages from other people saying that the show encouraged them, and that they might have been going through something at that time, and it really inspired them to keep going. So my thing is, if I can just touch one person at a time, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm walking in my purpose and motivating others. But if I can definitely reach the world, that would definitely be awesome.
Absolutely. And I heard you touch on something that I'm very big on is that, and I am currently doing that as well, is walking in your purpose. That's one of the things that I want to do in the future is write an ebook about how to find your purpose. And so
Hmm.
just knowing what your purpose is and operating it is just so big to me because I think that's where you have your true happiness. I think that's
Hmm.
where you get so fulfilled in life by being able to help others
Hmm.
and that in here and help others and just be in your purpose. So yeah, absolutely. I'm glad
Yeah, a
you're
lot of times we're already walking in our purpose, and we just don't we have to have that unction to make us do it or whatever. Just like with the podcast, I've been singing all my life, but then I put myself in a box with just singing. It's like you can use your voice for other things
right.
and take it further. Who knows? I might go further with the podcast than my music. You never know. So a
Right.
lot of times people don't realize that their purpose is already inside of them. They just got to tap into it.
Absolutely. I was talking to someone yesterday about whether or not he knew his purpose. And at first he said he did. And then after I kept on talking, he was like, you know what, I don't. And I was like, well, just think about something that you do on a regular basis that you love to do and that you don't even know that you're doing. I say usually that's going to be your purpose because you do it effortlessly. And so he
Yes.
thought about it or whatever. And so whenever I see him again, I'll definitely check back. But that's what I always tell people because that's how I found mine. I was just wondering one day, I was like, God, what's my purpose? And I just started to pray about it to find it. And then I realized what it was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I do that. I was at a conference and one of the ladies was just talking about, she was asked, she went around the room asking different things. And when it got to me, when she said to me, when I told her what it is that I do and that I like doing, and she was like, you're a connector. And I never thought about myself being a connector, but I actually am because I'm
Mm-hmm.
a major networker. And so I realized that I love to connect people with other people. And so that's another thing that I do
Mm-hmm.
all the time. So
That's good to know.
yeah. So what is the most important lesson you have learned over your career? And that's whether it's work, in your singing career, your podcast journey.
um, what's something that I've learned?
Your most important lesson.
That it's okay to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I've always been told that I'm different from other people, and that I would never like really fit in with other people. But utilizing that it's okay to stand out sometimes, and be the different person that I am. When it comes to music, I've always, let's say, for instance, whenever I would go and perform at shows and things like that, my music was always different than everybody else. But at the end of the night or the end of the day, my music stood out to others. I do R&B and hip hop, and it wouldn't necessarily be the same as everybody else's R&B and hip hop that the norm, the popular R&B and hip hop, and I learned that to just be me. Um, I've had opportunities where they'll be like, "Yeah, we like your singing, but we want you to change up your style." And it's like, no, I'm not changing up my style for anybody. Either you like me and my style, or you don't. Those were moments that I could have been like, well, sure, yeah, because I want to, get my music further. I could have been like, okay, yeah, well, we can change up the style. But I liked my authentic self. I liked my style, and I knew what I wanted to bring to the world,
Right.
music wise, and I didn't bend for it. A lot of people they'll change for other people because people want to hear a certain sound, people want to see a certain style, and it's like, no, just be you. If they want you, then they'll have you in the whole package. So
Right.
in anything that you do what you do. You don't have to do like everybody else. You don't have to have the same style as everyone else. You just be you, and whoever is meant to reach out to you, they'll reach out to you.
Absolutely. You have to be apologetically you. And
Mhm.
just it. And I always say, no one else in the world is like you. I mean, like we are
Exactly.
unique individuals. And so I think we need to tap into that as a whole because sometimes,
Hmm.
you'll feel like, it's just like, okay, why is a person choosing me, or why would somebody want to listen to my music? Why would somebody want to listen to my podcast? Because no one else can do what we do on our podcast the way that we do it because we're unique. And that's what makes it different. And that's what make people watch. Because some people may watch you and not want to watch me, you know,
Hmm.
but
That's it. Yeah.
because we're different and we have different personalities. We're gonna come across different and just whatever.
Hmm.
I always try to be nobody but me. I don't want to be nobody but me. So yeah.
Yes.
How often do you write songs? So you did mention that you are a songwriter and you are a singer. So how often do you write songs? And have you ever wrote for
So you said what's the last question?
have you ever wrote a song for someone else?
Okay, yes. Okay, so for the first part of the question, um, here lately, like the last couple of years of my life, like songwriting has kind of like phased in, phased out. For a moment, I would have writer's block, and I would not be able to just write a song, just sit down and write a song. But sometimes it comes to me. I'll be driving, and something to come up, so I'll hurry up and get my phone and hurry up and record whatever it is, so I don't forget what it is.
Right.
I have there's no particular like writing technique or anything. It just kind of goes in phases. Like, um, for example, with this next project that I'm working on, um, I'm not able to record like I really want to.
Mhm.
So I've come up with a technique where I'm just like kind of like writing songs to other music, not necessarily the music that I'm going to use for it, but just enough like a placeholder. And doing that, I've been able to just write, song after song. But not all the time does it work like that. Sometimes I'll go months without writing a song, and I write, like I said, I write R&B, I write hip hop. I'm currently doing writing gospel, inspirational music, and then like I do worship music at my church. We do originals that I write, So
Okay.
it's just, wherever I am in that time of my life that I feel like writing. Here lately, it's been gospel, it's been inspirational. So just to, try something else. But definitely I have written um for another artist. Uh I'm trying to think if it's been more than one. I think it's just one artist that I've just specifically written for. But other than that, not really. I would love to. But right now, just one artist that I've written for, and she's an independent artist also too. So, but yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So we are going to we're going to go on a personal note now.
Okay.
So let's get personal. All
All
right. So
right.
I did read where you are married. So how did you meet your spouse?
Okay. So I met my spouse. I wasn't looking at him like that. He was looking at me like that. But we met in I want to say as far back as middle school.
Oh, what kind
Um, he crushed on me. I think I crushed on him in high school, but I was too busy doing whatever I was doing anyways. Um, so it wasn't until like after high school that I guess you could say I pursued him in a sense, but his mother kind of connected us together. Um, and we've been together ever since. But we've been married 14 years,
of
together 16. There's been some hiccups in there, but we claim all 16 of those years.
absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
and but yeah, we met in school. He can tell the story better than I can, because let him tell it. I just wasn't feeling him at all. I've been trying to. But
I
we're
always
here in
say,
2023.
right. I always say it's three sides to every story, and then it's the truth.
Mhm. Yep.
All right. Okay. So, what do people misunderstand about you the most?
Ooh. So people misunderstand about me the most, and my husband gave me this answer on this one, that I'm nice. They people say what they say, take your kindness for weakness,
Mhm.
in that sense. But at the same time, I'm the type of person, if you rub me the wrong way, I might give you twice. But if you rub me the wrong way, after that, I just don't like you.
Uh-oh.
But I won't show it.
Okay.
So then that's when they think that they're taking that kindness for weakness. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think that would be that would be it.
God is definitely still working on me in that area. Um,
Uh-huh.
like there is a really sweet side of me, but I still have some little rough edges
Yeah.
that, yeah, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm just like, and then especially like if it comes to family and stuff, like I don't like when people mess over on people, you know. So yeah, I might like look nice and look sweet on the outside of things, but my husband gets all the venting, and so that's why he's like, yeah, they think you nice, but you mean.
I know. I get that too.
But I've come a long way, because I used to just be mean. If I didn't, I wouldn't like say nothing to you. I'm just that type of person. Like if I ain't got nothing nice to say, I don't really have to speak to you unless it's like we work together and I have to speak to you about work related issues or something like that. But if not, I don't really have to speak to you.
Right. All right. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, this could, I mean, this question right here. My biggest pet peeve, because I got to figure out what the biggest one would be. Um, it could be a lot of things. My biggest pet peeve is going to restaurants and there's fingerprints all over the windows,
Okay.
or or you go through the drive-through and they're like, you can order when you're ready, and then you start ordering your food, then they interrupt you and be like, hold on. Like you said, when I'm ready, you wasn't ready.
Right. Absolutely. You
Those are
gotta
the
have me
two
looking
that come to the top of my head.
for. Did you hear me? I said you're gonna have me looking for fingerprints now. I'm gonna be looking.
Look, look, I'm telling you, that is my thing. Like I'll be in the restaurant and I'm telling you, if I can see fingerprints on the windows, I'll be like seeing dust on different stuff, or I'll look up and I'll see dust in the ceiling. I'm just like, no, it's not clean. Like, yeah, definitely pet peeves.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure we all have those.
hmm
All right. So, what are some of your upcoming projects?
Okay, so upcoming projects. As I stated before, I I'm writing right now for a gospel project. My next project that I will put out will be a gospel project, um, which would be my maybe fifth or sixth album that I've put out. I've put out several R&B and hip hop, and then I put out an inspirational project. So now I'm about to do the gospel project. And then also, I am currently in the process of writing a few books.
Okay.
One is like a poetry and a collaboration of songs and things like that. I just have to actually go through the publishing process for that and get that started. And then I am still writing on a drama book that I've been writing for years. But my goal, if not the end of this year, next year, to have that one already written. Um, but it's a pretty enticing drama book.
Okay.
And then I have some other book ideas that I'm about to start putting forth. Um, so those are the current projects that I am working on, books and music.
Awesome. Seem like a very busy lady. I'm
I
sorry.
try
That dog is right here.
to.
If you see me, but he's so needy. I should have closed the door, but that's what all this little is right here.
I'm good.
Right. Okay, so we have went through our questions so fast.
Yeah, we really.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So now it is that time in the show where I call it now Talk with Todd and share a gratitude moment, something that you're thankful for. I'll let you go first.
Okay. I am thankful for, off top, I'm thankful for my dad. He is my, I call him my inspiration. He's the reason why I keep going. I push and I strive for the things that I strive for. I lost my mom in 2015,
I'm sorry.
and so I just have him now. And he keeps me going. He's always been there for me in everything that I do, music wise, podcast wise, um, everything. Like, from when I say been there for me, like my dad, me and him uh, are close. And I can remember the most fondest memories of being in high school, around prom time, homecoming time. We would always go and shop for a dress every year. Shop for a dress. He do my makeup, do my hair. we had that father-daughter bond that, not everybody can say that they have with their dad. And so
Right.
I just thank God for him, him still being here, him still being as passionate about the things that I do. When I started doing my music seriously, he would be the one that whenever I would record a song, I go and take it to him. He's critiquing it. He's telling me everything that I need to do. Like, go back and do this, put this in there, do this, do that. So he's always been there, still is there. And so I would say that
I'm
he
sorry. Give me
is
one sec. Give me one sec, Tiffany.
hung.
Give me one sec. So I'm gonna have to put this together because he didn't came here with his big self. He look. This is him. As you can, let me see. Oh gosh, I don't know if you can see him, but he's huge
Oh,
now.
you talking
And so he has came over here shaking up stuff. My gosh. Lord, I'm gonna make sure I have him out. This is so ghetto. I'm just this day. Well, praise God. Let me just say praise God because it's good. I got home. But this day, I'm telling you, I need a glass of wine and I don't have any.
I'm done.
I do. I'm just like, Lord, I tell you. Now it's all cricket. Oh, that's because I got that on there. Okay. I don't even know where you were in your conversation. We
Oh
were talking.
Lord.
So just start some of it over and I will just paste it together because I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I think I was talking about how my memories with him in my high school days.
Mhm.
He would we would go and buy whatever dress I was gonna wear. He would do my makeup, hair, all of that stuff. Not everybody can say that they have that father-daughter relationship or just a father in their life.
Right.
And my dad has just always been there through everything that I have going on. Uh, I've been to him a lot, and I tell him my things that I want to do. He puts his input in, and tries to give me neutral insight, and I'm thankful for him because he doesn't have to be as active as he is. Not everybody has an active dad in their life, you know.
Right.
And I thank God for him.
Absolutely. I'm a daddy's girl myself, and I mean, I love my parents. They're still together and married, and yes, family is just everything for me. So definitely,
Yes.
um, what I'm thankful for is that I am thankful for a voice, that my voice is being heard. I'm also thankful for the vision that I have, and that God is letting me, allowing me to, live out my dreams and them turn into um, existence, I guess. So that's what I'm thankful for. I had
Yeah.
them wrote down, but yeah, I lost my notes. It's just like, I tell you. All right, so I have really enjoyed you, and I hope that this conversation has been a tool to use to figure things out in your life. So Tiffany, go ahead and tell the listeners how they can support you by following you on social media.
All right. So, as we've been saying, the name of my podcast is Tips Tuesdays. You can follow the podcast on all social media, Facebook, Instagram. Go and subscribe to my YouTube and just follow me there. You can go and follow the podcast on all streaming platforms, whatever you listen to podcasts and music on. Tips Tuesdays. And you can also find my music. Just put in Tiphani, Tiphani, on all streaming platforms.
Great. I'm glad you spelled it because that's what I was going to tell you to do is spell it so they'll know how to exactly you. All right, guys. And you can follow me on Facebook and TikTok as Tot Carter, on Instagram as Ivy Tot 10 and Talking with Tot. All right. And until next time, this is the one and only Tot Carter, a podcast that I'm just messing up all tonight. A podcast that reveals how extraordinary people find their purpose in life. Hmm. Do you know what your purpose is? If you don't, go out and discover what your purpose is. Goodbye, y'all.